Have you ever wondered how the weakest person in the room can end up controlling everything? Well, in the world of One Piece, there's a red-nosed clown who accidentally stumbled his way into becoming one of the most feared names on the seas. This is the story of how Buggy the Clown completely shattered the illusion that power comes from strength, proving that in Oda's world, perception is the only currency that truly matters. Picture this, a former member of the legendary Roger Pirates, but not one of the heavy hitters. While his crewmate Shanks went on to become an emperor, Buggy was running a small-time circus, terrorizing villages with parlor tricks and collecting treasure maps. His devil fruit power lets him split his body into pieces, which sounds impressive until you realize he's still just as vulnerable to attacks. The guy can't even swim, and his biggest fear is getting his nose made fun of. This was the man who would eventually become an emperor of the sea, not through conquering territories or defeating legendary warriors, but by mastering something far more powerful than any haki or devil fruit ability. Buggy figured out how to weaponize reputation itself. The first crack in the system happened at Impel Down, the world's most secure underwater prison. Buggy wasn't there by choice. He'd been captured and thrown into this nightmare facility where the world government keeps its most dangerous criminals, level after level of pure horror, designed to break even the strongest pirates. But here's where things get interesting. When Luffy caused chaos trying to rescue his brother Ace, Buggy found himself in the perfect position to ride that wave of destruction. Did Buggy plan any of this? Absolutely not. Was he instrumental in the mass breakout that followed? Not even close. But when hundreds of prisoners started following him, thinking he was some kind of mastermind, Buggy didn't correct them. He leaned into it. And this is where we see the first glimpse of his genius. Buggy understood that in a world where information travels slowly and gets distorted with each telling, the truth matters less than the story people choose to believe. By the way, if you like these kinds of breakdowns, consider subscribing. I do these every week, and that way you won't miss the next one. The Marineford War took this principle to its absolute limit. Here was the biggest conflict the world had seen in decades. Whitebeard, the strongest man alive, leading his entire fleet against the full might of the Marines to rescue Portgas D. Ace. And somehow Buggy the Clown ended up right in the middle of it all. From Whitebeard asking him to join forces to Shanks making requests to Buggy, when the world read about Marineford, they didn't get an accurate play-by-play of events. They got the version where Buggy the Clown appeared to be a major player who held his own alongside Whitebeard's commanders, and even seemed to challenge the Marines directly. The reality was irrelevant. What mattered was that billions of people across the world now associated Buggy's name with one of the most significant battles in history. This is where Buggy's true power reveals itself. The prisoners who escaped Impel Down with him didn't follow him because he defeated the guards. They followed him because they believed he had a plan. The world didn't fear him because of his devil fruit abilities. They feared him because Morgans told them to. And here's the most beautiful part. The more people treated Buggy like he was powerful, the more powerful he actually became. After the Paramount War, Buggy's accidental rise didn't slow down, it accelerated. His fame after Marineford turned into real leverage when the world government instated him into the Warlord system. Recognizing the opportunity, Buggy launched Buggy's Delivery, a mercenary organization that operated across the seas by renting out pirate crews and fighters for a price. Despite having little personal strength, Buggy understood something every real pirate overlooked. The Warlord title wasn't just political power, it was branding. The symbol of government legitimacy attracted countless low-level pirates who wanted protection, opportunity, or simply the chance to follow the Marineford legend. Buggy didn't need to be feared, he needed to be believed in, and the world already believed. His company grew rapidly in the New World. Buggy's Delivery offered manpower to small kingdoms, backup to pirate crews, and logistical support to criminal groups. The more his mercenaries succeeded, the more clients he gained. And the more clients he gained, the bigger his legend became. Buggy finally had what he'd always lacked on his own, a scalable system of influence. But his empire had a fatal weakness, one that had been there from the start. Buggy's Delivery was built on the illusion of stability provided by the Warlord system. The moment the world government abolished the Warlords, Buggy's carefully crafted reputation collapsed. Clients panicked, enemies resurfaced, and Marines suddenly had full authority to hunt him down again. It wasn't Buggy's strength being tested. He had none to test. It was his survival instinct and the momentum of his public image. And just when his downfall felt inevitable, the chaos of the New World created an opening only Buggy could slip through. Crocodile approached him first, not out of respect, but because he believed Buggy owed him money. Mihawk joined shortly after, seeking refuge from the Marines after losing his Warlord protections. Both of them were powerful, strategic, and deeply dangerous. Yet when they arrived, they found the scattered remnants of Buggy's delivery, already treating Buggy like their saviour. Buggy hadn't earned any of this authority, but he was the only one with it. This brings us to the most audacious stroke of luck in Buggy's entire career, and the moment when his accidental genius reached its absolute peak. To avoid destabilising the organisation and to exploit the global perception surrounding Buggy, Croc formed an uneasy alliance with him under a new banner: Cross Guild. Crocodile provided structure, Mihawk provided raw power, and Buggy, whether he wanted to or not, became the face. The group's first major act was revolutionary, issuing bounties on Marines themselves. For centuries, the world government had dictated who the criminals were. Cross Guild flipped that hierarchy instantly. Pirates, bounty hunters, and desperate civilians now had financial incentive to attack the very institution meant to control them. It didn't matter that the strategy belonged to Crocodile. It didn't matter that Mihawk was the true deterrent behind the organization's survival. To the outside world, the only name large enough to attach to this movement was Buggy. When the Navy intercepted printed posters and documents bearing Buggy's picture above Crocodile and Mihawk's portraits, the conclusion became unavoidable. The world now believed Buggy had recruited them, and once again, worldwide perception hardened into global truth. The world government had no choice but to acknowledge him. Buggy the Clown, the man who accidentally survived Impel Down, stumbled into Marineford and drifted upward through sheer narrative inertia, was declared one of the 4 emperors of the sea.